Kumusta creatives? Sol here again bringing you another 3D tutorial. And for this session, I will show you how to easily create a 3D text. As always, we are using 3ds Max for the modeling and Vray for rendering. So, enough BS, let's head on to the good stuff. Alright everyone, now that we have 3D Max open, before we go on straight with modeling the text, first I need you to do two things. One is to always check your workspace. So for mine, I always keep it to default. But if you guys have like a template that you always use, or maybe you guys would like to choose this, do feel free to do so. Next, go to customize and always check your unit setup. Go click unit setup, and for this, because what we're doing is not gonna be so big, so I'm assuming it's gonna be around 10 or 20 cm by 10 cm, something like that. You can either choose cm or millimeters. So for me, I always like to use millimeters for accuracy. Press OK. Okay. So now let's go to create the text. So first, go to the create tab and choose text, select splines and choose text. Okay, just drag and drop into the scene, go to the modify tab and choose your text under the parameters. For mine, I always like to use Poppins, but of course you can choose any text you want. And for this, we're gonna create 2 layers of text. Just copy that. Okay, so now let's type something. You are creative. Okay, so let's adjust the size for this. Okay, maybe let's do 200 mm, and for this let's choose 400 mm. And again guys, you can adjust this however you like. Okay, next let's turn this into a polygon. Select the first text and go to your modify tab, and under the modifier list, press or choose extrude. Maybe choose 50 mm for the extrusion. Okay, bear in mind that you can also adjust the kerning or the space in between the text, just to give it some character. Same thing with the second text. Let's go to kerning. There you go. Let's make it as tight as my girlfriend. Then again, you can extrude this by going to the modifier tab and selecting extrude. Or another way is to select the first text, select the extrude modifier and just drag and drop into the spline or the text. Okay, so let's rotate this 90 degrees. Let's go to the left side just to make sure that it's standing on the plane. Okay, centralize that. Next, let's model the backplane. go to the left side again, go to create tab, go to splines, shapes, splines, select the line and just draw an L shape. Okay, then while that's selected, go to the modifier tabs again, click the line, select the vertex or vertice, whatever you call it, select the vertice there and just bump up the fillet menu. Okay, now another crucial aspect is to, because we have to make this into a polygon, so go to the rendering tab under the modifier tab and select enable in renderer and enable in viewport and check or select rectangular. Let's just make the width into 1 mm, so width or thickness, and for the length let's pump it up maybe to around 2 meters, maybe let's make it 3 meters. Okay, all right. Okay, so while the backdrop is selected, scroll down, navigate down to the interpolations tab at the bottom and then select adaptive, so that actually makes the curve of the backplane smoother. Okay, now let's create the materials. Actually, let's choose Vray first as the rendering app, so just select Vray 6. Okay, now that's selected, press M again on your keyboard. Now the Vray material appears. Just select the Vray material and drag into the view, double click that. Let's name this as backdrop because this is going to be the backdrop texture. For the diffuse, let's make it darker, and for all the other parameters let's keep it to the basics. Okay, now let's create another material for the text. Let's name it text. For the diffuse, maybe let's make it white. Just give it a little bit of reflection. So of course dark is 0 reflection, white is more reflection. Glossiness, let's give it a little bit of gloss. Let's just make it 0.9. Okay, alright, so choose the backplane and right click into the backdrop material and assign to material selection. Select the text, right click into the text material and assign to material selection. Okay, now let's minimize this, or we can actually close this. Alright, so far so good. Let's make it super white. Now let's create the light. So for this scene we're gonna need like around 5 lights to give it some drama and to illuminate the scene. So let's go to the Vray plane light and then just drag and drop into the scene. Let's go to the top view. Okay, so we have this plane light over on the right side. Maybe let's increase the length and the width to 300 mm. Duplicate this by selecting and holding shift and dragging it. Okay, so on the right one, let's turn the multiplier into around 15. Let's make this a little bit blue. For the right side, let's give it some contrast. So let's make this around orange. I think orange is a good color. Let's make that 17. Let's duplicate this again, holding shift and drag. Now let's illuminate the backdrop. Just to give the scene some ambient light. Let's duplicate this again, copy, and maybe this one, let's go for purple. Okay. Another thing we need is some key light. So let's just duplicate another one of these lights, and that's supposed to increase the length. This is supposed to shine towards the back of the edges of the text, so this should actually be subtle, but let's make it super light blue. We also want some ambient light at the front, just to give the text some illumination and just to make it stand out from the backdrop. Okay, now let's try to test the scene. Click into this, configure viewport, go to save frame, show save frames in active view. Choose a camera angle. Now once you've chosen a good camera angle, press Ctrl C into your keyboard for Windows to lock the viewport into that camera. And now let's go to the render settings, go to GI. For the primary engine, just gonna keep it simple, so we're going to choose regions map and choose, for the current preset, choose very low. Let's keep everything to the same settings and just press render. Okay, there's a few things here. One, the light is actually showing in the scene. Second, I think we have to increase the lights multiplier to double. Okay, so press stop. Okay, so let's select all the lights and then choose invisible so it doesn't show in the camera. Again, go to option, choose invisible. Just do that for the rest of the lights. Now we have to increase the multiplier maybe by 20. Double that. Actually, yeah, let's do 20. Let's do 30. Again, 30. 32 maybe. For the key light, let's choose 20. Okay. Again, let's try to render. That is looking way better. Okay. Maybe let's choose a different angle for the text to give it some spice. Okay, again, let's increase the light. Okay, now after adjusting all your lights, doing the trial and errors, let's go back to the render settings and let's choose medium for the GI radiance map current preset. And for the size, let's go with 1920 by 1080p. Okay, and again press render. Alright guys, now it's done cooking. I would say not too bad. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys learned something today, and if you did, please do subscribe and like this video, and as always, creatives, keep creating. Bye bye.